That's too hard.
So there is no answer.
Alright. So, this lesson we're going to do a bit more discussion, so I'm just recording the audio, not the video as well. Okay. So, the question we're doing is, do you have to be a morally good person to live a good life? Would anyone like to tell us what they said or why?
Abdul's answer was really good.
Abdul, can you tell us what you wrote? I think Jeremy just wants to know because you couldn't read your handwriting.
Yeah, we'll try.
I said that the good life is subjective.
Yep.
And it's from everyone's lenses. You don't need to have good morals to have a good life. Evil people in history like Genghis Khan killed millions of people, and they were morally atrocious. I can't even read my own handwriting. Wait, I'll not tell you. And they thought subjectively that they were living good lives, but for me and everyone else, they were not living good lives. Therefore, there is no definite answer.
Okay, so because two people can look at the same life and decide that to them it is a good life and it's not a good life. It's a subjective question, and there is no definite answer. Hand up. I think that's not a bad argument. Hand up if you think what a good life is subjective.
I think that's the majority of people in the room said.
I think that's everyone in the room.
Yeah.
Almost. Yeah, everyone. Okay, so that means that what a good life is kind of depends on the person in the same way that like what flavour ice cream tastes good depends on the person. Is that right? Is it the same sort of thing?
Yeah. Be cool.
Yeah? It's exactly the same? But are there better flavours of ice cream than others?
Objectively?
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Chocolate is not
Unpopular opinion.
What did you just say about chocolate?
Unpopular opinion, chocolate ice cream is one of the lower ranking flavours.
Oh, you know what? Strawberry better than chocolate?
Why? Now the strawberry is so much better than
Strawberry.
Yeah, I agree.
Strawberry is better than
Okay, you know
does anyone like licorice flavoured ice cream?
So get out of the room.
Anyone?
I actually don't mind the
Couple people, right? Only a couple people. It's an unpopular one, right? Even more unpopular than chocolate, probably. So, but even though licorice is an unpopular flavour, someone could still say, I think it's the best flavour, and they would be putting forward a meaningful statement that could be true, like for them, right? Does that make sense? They could lie about what their best flavour is, and then it would be false. But it's true because they decide it's true, right? But whether the good life is like that or not is really, really important. Yeah? Because let's just go extreme and bad instantly. Hitler, right? This is bad. Actually, let's go with Genghis Khan. We always go Hitler. Overused and it's getting terrible. Genghis Khan thought he was living a good life. Let's just imagine that he did. It's believable that he did, right? He had lots of stuff. He had one of the biggest empires in human history. I think actually maybe even the biggest land empire in human history as far as we know. So he had that, and he didn't even have cars, guys, he just had horses. Amazing, right? But he did murder millions of people, or he was indirectly responsible for the murder of millions of people. Yeah? So he thought he was having a good life, but other people would look at that and think, just like Abdul said, that's not a good life because he's a terrible person. Yeah? Which is answering this question. You can't have a good life if you're a terrible person. Yeah? Talk to the person next to you. Is it possible that Genghis Khan is wrong about his life being a good one? Maybe the fact that he's morally bad means that even though he's deluded, he could be living a bad life. Talk to the person next to you. Is that believable or not? What do you think?
If you're a bad person,
Do you think Hitler could have lived a good life?
even if it's always going to be like, if you're a bad person,
Yeah. But do you think it was a good life?
He objectively say that's not a good life.
Yeah, that's the question. Because if you can't say that, then suddenly it looks like he could have lived a good life. And we're going to wonder what made it good for him. But then, like, what makes his opinion more or less worthy than yours? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's a problem, isn't it?
So let's assume that everyone Christ. Just like getting 20,000.
I was going to try to ignore that.
That means bring us up. Me?
It's me that's happening.
Okay, so we only get taught to be good when we're young. Right, so you're saying he could live a good life because we didn't have any. Alright, coming back together. Alright, hand up if you think that an objective idea of a good life is believable. Anyone? Does anyone think we can have an objective standard by which we can measure whether someone's life is good or not? Damon?
Yes, but it is limited in its objectiveness.
Can you explain?
It's not like entirely objective, like by nature,
Okay.
but it's so conventionally objective.
Accepted?
Majority.
Yeah,
Right.
like
So many people accept our common standards
yes,
that it's effectively objective.
yeah,
Okay, but it's fundamentally subjective, you think?
it always will be because there's no like governing, like set governing law that this is subjective.
There's no natural law in the world about what makes a life good or not.
No, because life is. You could have like all the objective, the subjective facts, or a lot of them you can have without life anyway. Like things like maths and that still exists without life.
Yeah.
The concepts at least.
Yeah.
Not the humanization of it, but because the good life is a result of life itself, it has to be objective, mostly.
Yeah, I quite like that last bit because the good life, the concept of you mean,
Yeah.
is the result of life itself. It has to be subjective. Does anybody think that the things involved in a good life or other abstract concepts that go along with it, things maybe like beauty or happiness existed before life? Did beauty exist before perceivers?
No.
It's a good question. What's the problem then? Everyone's pretty much on, even Damon. Damon's recognising that the concept of a good life, the yardstick by which we measure whether your life is good or not, is subjective. It depends on the person, depends on their beliefs, their attitudes, etc. And Damon's just saying it's kind of objective because we all accept the same criteria. Yeah, we all accept the same things. Like, most people think that you need to be financially secure to live a good life. Most people think you need to have some friends and maybe some family to live a good life. Yeah, and those things are so fundamental to everyone in our society that it seems objective when we look at someone like Genghis Khan, who's murdered heaps of people, and we just say, well, we all agree that that's not the good life. Yeah? But what's the weakness in the subjective position?
It's not everyone.
Sorry?
It's not everyone.
It's not everyone. Genghis Khan still thinks he's got a good life. And if he can convince enough people that the only way to have a good life is by murdering millions of people, then the problem with this subjective perspective in any ethical or moral discussion is that it doesn't seem obvious why you should be more or less right than them. Because it's just like what flavour ice cream is the best.
Cookies and cream.
Okay, cookies and cream.
Yeah, I like cookies and cream. Yes, yes. And mango. Mango, cookies and cream.
Depends on the quality.
Yeah, that's true.
What about me?
The best. Let's.
Do you know what I love about this debate? Is that you're like, you guys are the most aware of like the difference between subjective opinions and objective ones. And you are fully aware in the context of this discussion that ice cream flavors are very subjective. And you've accepted the truth of that, right? But then as soon as Damon goes, cookies and cream, you're all like, I agree or I disagree. Like, let's compare that with my opinion.
Most popular opinion, New Zealand Natural has the best ice cream.
Who?
New Zealand Natural.
What in the world?
I'll have to try because I haven't.
Guys, I've
Alright.
had cactus ice cream before and it's great.
No, you have the home brand where it has the vanilla. And you're sorted.
That's an abomination.
And you're sorted.
Punish it.
Yeah.
Punish it.
Alright, let's go out the reading, guys.
White chocolate coconut with mango.
Oh, white chocolate coconut mango sounds amazing.
The connoisseur one, yeah. White chocolate coconut and mango.
It sounds so
It's
amazing.
so nice.
I'll get the rating out, sir.
Yeah, reading.
Hey, you know the saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away? Yeah. You know what it used to be when it first started? Consume an apple before bed prevents the doctor from getting his bread.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny. Alright, applying this quote to Socrates and Callicles. What do we think they think about this? Can anyone guess?
Socrates, yes. Callicles, no.
Good. Socrates, yes. Callicles, no. Socrates is going to say that you have to be a morally good person in order to live a good life. And Socrates is going to be with those moralists that think there are some objective standards by which morality is decided, or along with which morality exists in the world, right? So for Socrates and other people who are, I guess Socrates is a rationalist, so he thinks something like honesty or truth or integrity, courage, those are principles that exist for everyone, and you can either measure up to it or not. It's not a matter of whether you think honesty is part of the good life or not. Yeah, you can't just decide that the best life is dishonest, says Socrates. Callicles, though, obviously is the opposite. Yeah, he's going to say I can do whatever I want. Yeah, and Nietzsche, who we're going to study later on, is going to say that, but not in a superficial way, in like a really fundamental way. He's going to say that I'm just going to get rid of all categories of value and I can really do whatever I want from scratch. Callicles, though, is a little bit more superficial, but same basic message. So, section 3 we're up to, column 70. Everyone on the same page? Cool. Socrates professes to be delighted to have found someone with the characteristics which will enable him to test the truth of his beliefs. He first begins to undermine Callicles' Nietzschean individualism, like he's saying individuals are the best, by arguing that if it is better to obey the stronger party, then nature decrees that it's better to obey the masses, since they're naturally stronger than any individual. We're going to go through that one. Callicles protests rightly that by stronger, he doesn't mean more capable of enforcement, and under Socrates' guidance says that the people he has in mind are the cleverer and more astute ones. Some crude prodding from Socrates makes him narrow this down further to those who have applied their intelligence to political matters and have the courage to ensure that their will is carried out. These are the people who should dominate others and have the lion's share of wealth and all that. Cool. Quick word before we go on. Socrates is fairly well known in all of the dialogues for asking a bunch of tricky questions to get whoever he's talking to say exactly what he wants so that he can, remember, don't use this in your essays, obliterate his opponent.
Absolute destruction.
Yeah.
Ben Shapiro on
He's known for doing that. And this section's a pretty good example of that. So as we read through, you might want to try and think of ways that Callicles could or should have defended himself a bit better. Yeah? Would anyone like to be Socrates? It's the big one. Jeremy. The big one.
I was.
Oh, Jeremy. Oh, you went the other day.
I'll go Callicles.
You want to go Callicles?
Yeah.
Awesome. Does anyone want to go Socrates?
Abdul would love to, honestly.
No way. Can't do that again.
Or was that Nick?
Oh. I'll do it.
Yeah, give me.
Thanks, David.
Give me.
Alright, Socrates. If my mind was made of gold, Callicles, don't you think I'd be delighted to find one of those stones which are used to test gold, especially if it was a really good one? I could touch my mind to it to see whether it confirmed that my mind had been properly looked after, and that at last I'd know that I was right, and that any further testing was fruitless.
What's the point of this question of yours, Socrates?
I'll tell you. I think in meeting you, I met with some who's just such a godsend.
Why?
Jeremy a godsend.
Why?
If you confirm the beliefs I have in my mind, then I can be sure that these beliefs are true. Because it occurs to me that for anyone to be able to test whether or not a person's life is as it should be, he has to have three qualities. These are knowledge, affection, and candor. And you have the complete set. Come across a lot of people you see who can't test me because they don't have your knowledge, and then there's another lot who are knowledgeable enough but refuse to tell me the truth because they don't care for me as you do. Then there are two visitors here, Louis and Paulus, who have the knowledge and are fond of me, but are too easily embarrassed to speak their minds. It's indisputable that surely that they're riddled with inhibitions. In fact, their sense of propriety is so acute they have the goal to contradict themselves in front of a large number of witnesses, and to do so on the most important matters in the world. You're the only one with a complete set of qualities, however. You've had what many Athenians would call an adequate education, and you're fond of me.
Let's stop there for a second. Do we all get the three qualities that he thinks are important? So knowledge of the subject, you need knowledge to be able to test someone else. You need to like them so that you don't trick them into thinking the wrong thing. Yeah, and just you have to be willing to put up with them. The last one though is candor. He thinks that Polus and Gorgias don't have candor because they're too polite to tell Socrates when he's being stupid. Yeah? And he's like, I'm pretty sure, Callicles, you don't have that problem. Yeah? Callicles is happy to tell him that he's being a simple-minded child who he'd like to smash in the mouth. So he's definitely got candor, right?
I'd like to thrash you.
Alright, so let's see what Socrates says about the adequate education of an Athenian.
What makes me think so? I'll tell you. I'm aware Callicles and the four of you, Lysander, Laphignae, Andron, the son of Androntian,
Blah, blah, blah.
yeah, and yourself. Yeah, okay. And yourself. Tell one another your ideas. And I once overheard you discussing the question of how far intellectual study should be taken. I know the conclusion you reached was that detailed knowledge was undesirable, and you advised one another to be alive to the danger of being subtly corrupted by excessive knowledge. And now you're giving me the same advice you gave your closest friends. That's good enough evidence for me. I'm sure you really are fond of me. Finally, it's clear that you're not the kind of person to let any sense of propriety stand in the way of speaking to your mind. It's not just that you yourself have said you're not, but also that your earlier words confirm the truth of this claim. So it's obvious how things now stand. Any idea of mine with which you agree during the course of our discussion will be, token have been adequately tested by us and won't require the application of further test, because it won't have been lack of knowledge or an overdeveloped sense of propriety that made you agree with it. And since you're fond of me, bracket, and you yourself in me, bracket, you won't have done so deceitfully either. In actual fact, then, our agreement about a point will be what conclusively demonstrates its truth. What sort of person should one be?
Might be worth highlighting that. It's a good section. Yep.
This is from our agreement will about a point. Highlight that part, or
Sorry?
do we highlight
Yeah, I'd highlight just the first bit,
from
just as a sort of a title for the section. So what sort of person should one be? This is the question, right? What's the good life? What sort of person should we be? I think this is a pretty good question to have when you're in Year 12, because it's the time when you get to start really thinking about and deciding what kind of person you will be. So it's worth thinking about what sort of person you should be. Genghis Khan is off limits, just so you know, guys.
Oh.
Should I challenge that?
Someone was being also politically correct, I didn't say the country anymore.
Oh, you can't even invade a country anymore. What's the world coming to?
You can't invade a country because you're too polite, sir.
Can't believe how much peace there is in the world today.
This world needs a good showing out for.
Wait till we hit Nietzsche.
Boy, how
Anyway.
Like the start of the revolution, I believe so.
Of course it's ethical.
What should a person do with his life, and how thoroughly should he devote himself to his chosen occupation? We've seen these words before, have we not? What should he be doing when he's young, and what should he be doing when he's older? The attempt to find answers to these questions is the finest work in the world. Yeah, it was one of the questions.
It was.
That's right. Callicles.
What is the finest work in the world?
The finest word, yeah.
Finest work in the world is trying to decide what sort of person we should be, right?
Yeah, I remember
Hey.
This for Jordan. Jordan.
Yep.
Callicles.
Something.
No worries.
You accuse me of being misguided about these matters. I'm going wrong anywhere in my own life. The mistake isn't deliberate, I assure you. It's merely the result of stupidity on my part. So please don't stop the kind of criticism you began. But let me hear a convincing argument about what I ought to do with my life and how to achieve that objective. And if at any time in the future you catch me acting in a way which conflicts with any point on which I agree with you today, you can regard me a total idiot. And they're so completely hopeless that you need to criticize me ever again. Yeah. Would you go back to the beginning though and tell me again what you mean by natural right? Am I right in remembering that according to you it's the forcible seizure of property belonging to inferior people by anyone who is superior? It's the dominance of the worst by the better, and it's the unequal distribution of goods so that the elite have more than second-rate people.
That's what I expressed earlier, and you hear the same from me now.
Do you distinguish between better and superior? I wasn't clear about this before either. Are you describing stronger people as superior and saying that weak people should be subject to someone who's stronger? I think that was the point of your earlier claim that it's in keeping with natural right for big countries to attack small ones because they're superior and stronger. If so, oh wow, what was that? You're counting 73. What's the fuck? Yeah, I don't know. What's the fuck different? No, it doesn't matter. Superior, stronger, and better as synonyms. Or is it possible for a better person to be inferior and comparatively weak, and for a superior person to be relatively bad? Or do better and superior mean the same? Please, can you define your terms more precisely and tell me whether or not superior, better, and stronger are not synonyms?
Alright, I state unequivocally that they're synonymous.
Well, isn't it natural for the general populace to be superior to a single individual? After all, as you said yourself a short while ago, it's the masses who make the laws under which an individual lives.
Of course they're superior to a single person.
Doesn't it follow that any regulation prescribed by the masses is being prescribed by the superior group?
Yes.
It's I can't even pronounce that. Prescribed by better people then, isn't it? You said that to be superior is to be better, didn't you?
Yes.
From the standpoint of nature then, their regulations are good, since the people who prescribe them are the superior ones, agree?
Yes.
Well, to cite another of your recent statements, the general populace rules that equal distribution of good is right, and that doing wrong is more contemptible than suffering wrong, doesn't it? Is that so or not? Be careful now. We wouldn't want it to be your turn to fall prey to a sense of propriety at this point. Do they or do they not hold that equal rather than equal distribution is right, and doing wrong is more contemptible than suffering wrong? Come on, Cal, please answer. Your agreement would count as confirmation of what I'm saying, because it would be the agreement of someone with insights.
Yes, alright. This is what the general population rules.
Alright, the general population rules it, right? And Socrates, can you guys see what Socrates has done to Callicles?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's made him say that groups of weak people are stronger. They're the stronger, and because stronger equals better and better equals superior, by natural law, according to Callicles now, weak people should dominate strong people if they're in big groups. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What's the problem for Callicles there?
His argument is the opposite.
That's the opposite of what he means, isn't it? Yeah. Quickly looked at. He doesn't do a great job of necessarily arguing it through here, does he? Just like Jeremy has given us in through the whole section. He's just like, yes. Can you look through this section and see if there's any section in which Callicles could have argued for himself a bit better? Everything? Try and find out something he should have objected to. I'm not sure if there is something, but have a look. See if there's an argument he could make. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
It would be easier if you say that they would.
So, what could you say there?
I don't know, stronger as in like
Couldn't you say that they're stronger with that group, just singly? Like a single person is
You
stronger.
could restrict strength to the single individual.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what's Socrates going to say if you say that? You could question him more, won't he?
Yeah.
Because Socrates needs to make this equivalence, right? So he's just going to say, doesn't stronger mean can smash you in the mouth if they want to? Or something like that. Can overpower, right? And groups of people can overpower others. And he's said that he should have differentiated his terms. Do you guys think that would be useful?
Yeah. Shouldn't it be called stronger to better?
To better?
Like
Yep.
physically stronger to better.
Okay, so physically stronger isn't the key thing for Callicles?
I'm pretty sure that's what he goes on to have to say later on.
Yeah.
So yeah, if he just said that now,
Then he'd be alright?
yeah, or at least better off.
Alright, let's keep reading and see if Callicles can recover it at all.
Alright. Isn't it only convention then which states that doing wrong is more contemptible than suffering wrong? Or that quality is right? Nature endorses these views too. So it looks as though you were wrong in what you were saying before, and also shouldn't have used the claim that convention and nature are opposites of caste aspirations at me, and accused me of arguing unfairly. In the sense that I know perfectly well they're opposed, and so if a person is talking from the standpoint of nature, I steer the argument towards convention. And if he's talking from a conventional standpoint, I steer it towards nature.
Why didn't he ever stop talking rubbish? Tell me, Socrates, does it embarrass you to pick on people with mere words at your age, and to counter a godsend if someone uses the wrong expression by mistake? Of course I mean that superior people are better. Haven't I been telling you all along that better and superior are the same in my opinion? What else do you think I've been saying? That law consists of the statements made by an assembly of slaves and assorted other forms of human debris. It would be completely discounted if it weren't for the fact that they do have physical strength at their disposal.
Oh, I see, Callicles, I'm very clever of you. So that's what you meant?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's have a look, please, in the textbook at page 211. Just going to save us some writing. I want to keep moving.
211.
211. Question 3 here has some nice standard form versions of the arguments that you've done for holiday homework. The first one there, superior, stronger and better are synonymous, and then P2 on page 211. The masses are better and stronger than a single individual. Therefore, the masses are what?
Superior, stronger, and better than the individual.
Yeah, good. Very simple argument. The second one's much more interesting though. Any regulation prescribed by the masses is being prescribed by the superior group. Yeah? The masses prescribe that the equal distribution of goods is right, and doing wrong is more contemptible than suffering wrong. Yeah? That was all that stuff about equality. Doing wrong is more contemptible, more disgusting than suffering wrong. So, because the superior group dictates that, what is that? Not just conventional law, but natural law. So conventional law and natural law, Socrates is saying, are the same in this case. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the conventional law is just another form of natural law, since it only comes about when the superior group brings it about. Yeah? Do you remember the bit earlier on where Callicles was like, you're just using a trick. Whenever they talk about natural law, you switch to conventional law. And whenever you talk about conventional law, you just switch to natural law and you trick them up all the time. You guys remember that bit?
Yeah.
Yeah? And now Socrates is saying, well, that's because they're the same thing, you duffer. All good with that? And then Callicles' response is to say, won't you ever stop talking rubbish? That's what I meant all the way along. And Socrates is like, how clever of you. Yeah? Okay. You should get the sense that Socrates, throughout this whole section, is going to start to get massively sarcastic. So let's keep an eye out for that. Damon, have we keep going?
Yeah, sure.
Go.
Alright, where was I at? Actually, my friend, I've had a vague suspicion along myself that this or something like it was what you meant by superior. And the reason I've been asking you all these questions is because I'm so keen to know my value ideas and a proper understanding of the meaning. Presumably you don't think that two people are better than one, or that your slaves are better than you just because they're stronger than you. Would you start all over again then, and tell me what you mean by when you call people better since you don't mean stronger? Please use a gentler form of construction, my friend, otherwise I'll have to leave your school.
You're not being altogether sincere, Socrates.
Yes, I am coming, please. I swear to you by Zeus, whom you invoked during your extended assault on me, when it was you who were keeping something back. Anyway, please tell me now, who are the better people according to you?
I mean the elite.
But that doesn't explain anything. Can you see that it's you who are stuck at the level of mere words? Tell me, what is it that makes people better and superior? Is it greater cleverness or what?
Yes, that's it. Definitely. It's greater cleverness, of course.
Here's your position then. If a single clever person is almost bound to be superior to 10,000 fools, political power should be his and they should be his subject, and it is appropriate for someone with political power to have more than his subjects. Now, I'm not picking on the form of words you use, but that I take it is the implication of what you're saying. Of a single individual being superior to 10,000 others.
Yes, that's what I mean. In my opinion, that's what natural right is. For an individual who is better, that is more clever, to rule over second-rate people and have more than them.
Stop right there. Let's then conduct this assertion of yours. Imagine lots of us together in one place, just as we are now, with plenty of food and drink available, and imagine that we're a miscellaneous bunch, in the sense that we have a whole range
From strong to weak. Now among us is the doctor, let's suppose.
in other words.
We'll finish there, guys. Make sure you fill the holodenomic section for this part of the reading. That is all, and I'll see you on Monday. Tuesday? But what is it? Monday.
Neither.
Monday.
We're always Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah.
Just a single on Monday.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Dude, that's we've got it.
Thanks for the Genghis Khan example, Abdul.